America, and welcome to another Sports podcast. I am Joel Anderson.
I'm Jordan Pomaville.
And joining us as always is the sports outsider, Phil Ranta.
I don't know shit about shit.
Yeah, that's right. So, Phil,
Yes.
catch any games?
We were in a bar together at the same time while a game was going on the TV.
That is correct, and I remember this. Can you tell me what two teams were playing?
You're putting me on the spot. I remember that afterwards, I think Sports Center came on, right?
Yep.
So it must have been on ESPN. I'm like the Sherlock Holmes of what sport I was watching.
Well, no, actually, I think they switched over to Sports
Oh, they
Center.
switched. Okay.
Yeah. It was on NBC because it was Sunday Night Football.
I'm going to say it's football, but I'm not sure.
It was the Giants and the Cowboys.
Giants and Cowboys. The big giant Cowboys.
We didn't catch the end of that, but that was a pretty good game.
It was very close.
Oh, that's too bad. I missed it. I would have really enjoyed seeing it, I'm sure.
We could talk about it right now.
No, that's okay.
Okay.
No, that's fine.
I was saying we hypothetically could had you seen it. But you
Right,
didn't.
but no, I didn't see it.
Didn't even.
Hey guys, news.
Oh,
News.
I'm the sports.
Which, and I know we just rebranded this from headlines.
I know it's very confusing.
Is everyone at home keeping up with this? It is now news.
It's
What
the
was
same
formerly
thing as
known
headlines, except it's a worse name now.
Well, here's what you can do if you're listening at home and you're scoring at home and you're looking and you have it says news and you're gonna write down what we're gonna say.
Right.
Just take out your pencil, go ahead and cross off news, and write in Tebow.
There it is.
Tim Tebow update, watch update.
Tim Tebow update, watch update.
Tim
Do we
Tebow.
know what week this is of Tim Tebow update, watch update?
It's I think the life of the podcast, so I got to think 9.
Yeah, it's got to be
Week
ninth
9.
week by now, right? Well, how many wins and losses? What's his W and L's right now?
Well, he only has one loss because Tim Tebow refuses to loses.
That's his motto.
Do you remember how smug I was after that one loss?
You were so
Said
You
smug.
were
Joel was
smug.
so smug.
Well, you're always so smug that it's hard to
but
tell
I
the
was
difference.
unusually smug about that.
You're always unusually smug.
because you were
though.
like, oh, that Tim Tebow, he got his comeuppance when he went up against the Lions.
I was
Did
also
you say come up Muppets? It sounded like you said come Muppets.
Yeah, shut the fuck up. Phil.
No, it did.
Your mom's
You
a
said-
cum muppet.
Bam. I like that as an insult. I like that insult.
Come Muppet.
You come Muppet.
But Jordan, why don't you fill us in on how Joel was spectacularly wrong once again?
Well, here's the thing. I was actually watching this game, so I can fill you both in.
Right on.
It's 2 minutes left. The game's over, you're thinking. The Bears have the ball, okay? Marion Barber, oh man, he steps out of bounds. He stops the clock on a run. Terrible move with about 2 minutes left, a little less than a 2 minute. And so then they got a punt. And then Tim Tebow rallies, takes the team on his back, and physically carries them down.
That's tough for an older gentleman.
Tebow saves, and Matt Prater, the field goal kicker, saves even more. He had 2 field goals, one 59-yarder, one 51-yarder, ties the game, goes into OT. The Bears have the ball again, and they're knocking on the proverbial door. They got
Let
it.
me guess. Tebow jumps on the defensive line and says, "Guys, I've got this." Gets the sack, pops the ball out, grabs it, runs it into the end zone.
Close.
Okay.
Close. His assistant, Divine Intervention, came along. Marion Barber's carrying the football, and now they could make the field goal, but he's carrying the football. It is stripped. The football is fumble
By T-Bone, right?
No.
Okay.
He would come in later.
By T-Bone's buddy, Jesus.
Yeah.
Jesus stripped the ball.
Likely-ish. We think Marion Barber probably, swore at his mom earlier this week or something.
Yeah, must have.
A
You have
fourth
to honor
commandment
that mother and
penalty.
father, yeah.
And Tebow comes in, charges down. They kick the field goal. Everyone's hugging. They were down 10 points with less than 2 minutes left. They were left for dead, and they came out, and Tebow took him on his back, wins the game. He goes 21 for 40 for 236 yards, a TD, and an interception. He has 12 carries for 49 yards, a subpar NFL passer rating, 68.3.
Yeah.
But another win.
That's all that matters, though.
Another
Who cares
win.
about everything? Who cares about the statistics?
Well-
all that matters is did you get the W?
Yes.
And Tebow has a W in his last name, and he also gets a bunch of W's.
Yes, now he's Tebow.
Tebow.
College football.
Boom.
Robert Griffin III wins the Heisman.
As I believe we predicted he would.
Yeah, he has a lockjaw accent and a
Yeah, he
yacht,
does.
and yeah.
He's got to wear a top hat, right?
No.
I believe the last time I saw pictures of him taking high tea, I watched him buttering a scone, and he did in fact have a top hat on. So, yeah.
Run that ball like a crumpet at tea time, my good boy. Is that his coach, his trainer?
Yeah, you know what, Phil? It is.
All right, perfect. That's all I wanted was some validation. Now we can move on.
Also, we got to take a second to introduce America to the new Big East.
Oh yeah,
The Big East has lost some teams. They're going to be losing West Virginia, Syracuse, Pitt. People are wondering.
These are most of the good teams in the Big East, are they not?
Well, yeah. Well, here's what's left football-wise.
Okay, let's hear it.
This is your Big East. 10 teams. You ready for this, Joel? Connecticut, South Florida, Louisville, Rutgers, Cincinnati. The proverbial old money programs. These are the ones that are staying in the Big East.
Right.
All 5 of them. Now they're adding some. You got San Diego State.
Whoa, stop. San Diego, if I know my geography well, is not in the eastern side of the country. It is in pretty much as far southwest as you can possibly be in the United States.
Hey, if you're in China, San Diego is also very east.
That's true. What Chinese teams are in the Big East?
So maybe it's the Beijing perspective on
The
college football.
Tangdong State.
Let's keep
You're
going.
absolutely correct, Phil.
Yeah.
No,
Okay,
San Diego,
just making sure.
It's crazy. They're grasping at straws.
Okay.
Grasping at proverbial straws.
Oh, not real straws.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
phew, because I was trying to imagine the entire conference grasping at straws. And
Though the addition of Straw Tech,
I love the rivalry between them and Crazy Straw U.
yeah. What the crazy
So
straw is the liberal
unconventional.
arts
Right.
college.
Yeah, exactly. They're the
So
ones that like
unconventional.
major in hemp arts and stuff like that.
Exactly.
Whereas those button-down snobs over at Straw.
Southern Methodist is joining.
It's in Texas. It's called Southern Methodist University. Should it not play in some sort of Southern Conference?
Well, it did for a while.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And then that conference broke up, and they got hit with the death penalty from the NCAA for cheating.
Gee,
A lot.
Texas does that so much.
I know.
Yeah,
They
but
love killing.
even among the Texas teams, SMU cheated a lot.
Ah.
It was one of those things where like they had like the documents, like they were paying players, but they were also paying players on like college, like the college letterhead was like in the envelopes and like the checks, and it was
this was the Southern Methodist University.
it's in Dallas. And
But
this is
so
in-
they are brought to you by a religion, and yet they felt it necessary to cheat.
absolutely yeah.
But Christianity has never had anything bad happen in its past. Why would they put pockmarks on it now?
Well, no, and you're right. It
Yeah.
hasn't. It wasn't until the 1980s that Christianity just took a black eye. With
Right.
Southern Methodist paying players they thought a parochial institution.
They should be ashamed of themselves.
People who talk like this, Jesus. Yeah. Now,
It is a darn crying shame because
A
again,
lot-
yes, flawless. All branches of Christianity.
Yeah.
great
For-
track
For
record.
millions of years.
Let's say,
Yes,
let's
still
say,
for
say,
millions of
say
years.
hundreds of thousands.
Okay. You know what? Let's just settle it. We'll average it and just say a
geological
billion.
standpoint.
We'll just say 1 billion years.
No, it's-
Christianity's
no,
been.
no.
Yeah.
Why don't we not? Because never mind.
What?
Let me round out the rest of the Big
Yeah,
East
let's hear
for
the
you.
rest of the Big East.
University of Houston,
Not in the East.
Not in the East.
University of Central Florida,
No, not in the East. Well, I guess it's in the East. Just
Well, let's
southeast.
give them Central Florida.
We'll give them Central Florida.
They all, South Florida's already a member. This is Central Florida.
Good.
And lastly, Boise State.
Boise's our old boisterous.
Yeah, who has gotten into an automatic qualifying conference just as automatic qualifying is going to go out the door. So I kind of feel bad for them that way.
I know. I was really kind of pumped when I first heard Boise State was going to go to the Big East because I was like, finally, we can at least stop having part of this conversation every year about whether or not Boise State this or that and their schedule. And I honestly think they might have taken a step backwards in terms of conference strength.
Yeah.
When you
Plus,
look at
they'll
their
be able to
competition-
finally import their potatoes, just bringing it along with them on the plane then. As they're flying out east, they might as well take some
This
potatoes
might
with
be
them.
part of the plan is that the potato penetration in the West is already at peak level.
Yeah, it's saturated. That's a saturated potato market.
Yeah. So
Oh man! Sometimes when I was little, I used to sneak into my dad's VHS cabinet and I would take out the tape "Potato Penetration," and I'd watch it late at night when my parents were watching. Man, I was a naughty kid.
That sounds so awful. I can't even imagine what that would.
Here's
I
the
can
thing.
imagine what that looks
If
like.
you're if it's the one I'm thinking of, it's
Right.
not. It's the one recorded off basic cable, and they blur out most of the potato stuff.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah, they
It's
just
all
keep the
pixelated.
vaginas and boobs. They blur out just the potatoes.
Don't touch that. It's a hot stove.
Oh, I thought that you were looking under the table.
So the Angels make a big splash in baseball.
This has been one of the bigger hot stove weeks, I want to say.
Hold on, I want to hear about this big splash.
Oh, this was
What's
a huge
the big splash
I'm
that
still,
the Angels
I'm
made?
still wet, Phil. That's how
From
big
the splash, were you
was.
sitting in the splash zone, or were you in a couple seats back
we
and it
were
was just that big of a
definitely
splash?
in the
It was-
splash zone. All
Did
of
you-
baseball was in the
Did
splash
you cover
zone.
yourself in garbage bags, or did you buy the overpriced splash zone tarps?
No, had I known that I was going to the Gallagher show of Hot Stove League announcements, I would have worn a tarp.
but you didn't.
It was unexpected. It
So
came
you
as a
got
shock.
moist, and it was the Angels that made you moist.
Yes.
All right. How did the Angels make Joel moist?
They signed Albert Pujols and pitcher C.J. Wilson.
Same day.
Same day.
A total commitment of $327 million.
Way over $1 million.
That's
Yeah.
yeah. What? $327 million for two people?
Albert Pujols signed a 10-year contract for $250 million.
And this is still for baseball, right?
Yeah.
Hanging out most of the time. Most of the game's hanging out. Most of the game is hanging out. I've watched enough baseball.
He does make a fair point.
Yeah.
Most of the game is hanging out, but the parts that aren't hanging out are extremely difficult. And
Right.
Albert Pujols is better at those than Albert Pujols. At this point, I'm willing to say probably the best right-handed hitter of all time.
Well, here's my question, though. If you're when you're just considering games, within a game, how often is a baseball player actually doing something?
It really
Like,
depends on the
5 minutes, maybe? 5 minutes a game?
depends on the player, man.
Yeah, also, I mean, you're always kind of doing something. Like between the
Oh,
pitches,
yeah. You're hanging out. You're
doing
talking to your
something.
friends in the
No, you're paying
stands,
attention. You're looking around the field. You're trying to pick up on what's happening. If you're the first baseman, you might be holding the runner on.
You're
like,
sitting down in the outfield picking the grass.
I have never.
You're chewing
okay.
Big League Chew.
I've only seen that once. As an outfielder actually sat down and started
But
picking
someone
at the grass.
has a professional one.
The Cubs do
No,
it a
I
lot
was
in
kidding.
September.
Right.
Yeah, but
Is-
that's the Cubs.
And this is bad news.
Oh, this is
Oh.
pretty bad news. Yeah.
Yeah. Put on
Things
your
about to get sad.
put on your bummer hats.
I wear my
Hang
bummer
on.
hat all the time.
Hang on. Okay, I'm ready.
Or just tune into another podcast now if you don't want to be sad.
No, don't do that. Rate and review. 5 stars on iTunes.
They could rate and review.
Oh, okay.
National
and
League
then
MVP Ryan Braun
Yeah.
tested positive for a banned substance. And now he'll have a 50-game suspension to start 2012.
Which banned substance? Was it steroids?
It's looking that way. What they did is he had to pee,
And so they were like, can I go to the bathroom? And then he crawled out through the window and started running. And they're like, it looks like a positive test.
He basically tested for an elevated level of testosterone. And I think Major League Baseball looked at this test and said, "Oh no, this is not good."
Oh, that's too bad. But on the other hand, I think that drugs are going to get more clever faster than people are. And drugs are always going to be part of sports. So it's time to just open the floodgates, legalize it.
Wow, that was an amazingly cogent point from the sports outsider.
What? I think that
But that's also like I feel like that's like a depressing viewpoint.
it
That's
is,
like,
but it's true. It's
that's
the
but that's
facts.
like I don't know. Well, not really.
No.
I'd be on board with you, Phil, except for the health of the players.
Yeah.
You know that if you do not try to set up barriers, they will do this, and they will seriously damage their health in order to compete.
Here's what they have to do. You want these players to be able to juice themselves up because they're always going to be looking for it.
Yeah.
The problem with steroids is it's unhealthy. Try to make a healthy steroid. There's got to be a way. Why aren't we looking at that instead of blaming it at the players? Blame it on the scientists who aren't
Phil,
coming up with a healthy steroid.
There is a healthy steroid. It's called diet and exercise.
Mamma mia! It's another pizza
news. You know what I like.
All right, the Miami Heat coach is Eric Spoelstra. Still,
Okay.
seriously,
No one really
Not
knew that.
Spoelstra.
because- Is that the gumpy guy that LeBron James pushes around? Is that who I'm thinking
he's not
of?
really gumpy. He's kind
You're
of
right, he's not
short,
gumpy.
and he always
Is
looks
that
like
the
he's dressed
weenie
for
guy?
picture day.
Yeah.
He's always got his hair really nice and his tie, like he's built for success.
He's a goober.
Success
You're saying
hasn't
he's a
come.
big goober.
Yeah.
a little bit of a goober.
You spend all the
Okay.
money on talent, you hire a goober as the coach. I
Right.
feel like that's standard in the NBA, right?
But anyway, the Miami Heat are saying it's not going to be like last year. When this time last year, before the season last year, they had a laser light show, and they all came out to fog machines and fog hat.
And they're not going to do that anymore?
Well, no. Well,
why?
Well, yes, they're still going to have an exciting intro.
Okay, phew.
They're not getting rid of the exciting intro.
Okay, thank God. I was going to say, for all things to get rid of, don't get rid of the lasers.
They're going to not celebrate like they won something before they win something.
Yeah.
That's the
Why?
big difference this year.
Well,
People
because
like to see energy.
Well, in fairness, they won the Eastern Conference last year. Most of the time, that would be considered an accomplishment.
So now they're going to come out, they're going to be like, hey, not welcome to the Heat game.
Well,
Let's
pretty
see how
much,
this
because
works.
and it's funny that you say it in that exact tone of voice, because LeBron James has said, and they've all said, this is going to be a calmer, quieter start to the year.
Oh, welcome to the Miami Heat. If everyone will please take their seats, we're going to start our basketball game.
They've actually
We
they've
do
hired,
ask that you be very quiet, as these are professionals. They need to concentrate very hard in order to get that ball through that hoop that is barely bigger than the ball.
I heard that they hired.
Please sit down. If you need anything, make sure to push the button on the side of your seat, and an attendant will be with you immediately. We do have alcoholic beverages for $5.
And a snack bag for $3.
All right, kids. All of you on the Ace Hardware T-Ball team worked really hard in the preseason. Just remember, keep your eye on the ball and have a lot of fun up there. Timmy, you're up at bat.
All right, Coach.
Oi, is that Timmy Fensky, that little cock-faced bastard?
Oh, yeah, you're going to strike out, you cockhead.
Dairy Whip T-Bowler's gonna eat your tongues and shit down your throat.
Excuse me, fellas. Come on. They're kids.
Oh, tough coach, eh?
Bet you wouldn't be so tough if this chain link fence wasn't between us.
Dairy Whip rules. Ole, 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 ole.
Ole, ole.
Hey, are any of these kids even yours?
Well, I've been shooting loads at Timmy Fensky's mom for 8 years now.
Oi, Donovan, you saying that pale-faced rat bastard Timmy's your son?
Nah, my son would have a penis.
How about that, Timmy? Oh, you got a penis?
Hey, come on, guys. His mom's right over there.
Dairy Whip, Dairy Whip, Dairy Whip.
Don't worry about it, Timmy. Just keep your eye on the ball and make contact.
What the hell was that swing?
Oh, you're supposed to hit the ball, you little cum stain.
Ian, beer me.
There's no drinking here.
What are you gonna do about it, Fruit Basket?
Oi, maybe you need a headbutt to the throat, huh?
I've been stomping Ace Hardware T-Ball Fox for 10 years now, and you just made the top of my hit list.
Someone call the police.
Oh, come on, you can't take a little resin?
Timmy knows we're just playing around, right, Timmy?
Can I go home now?
Yeah, go home, you little twat.
Dairy Whip! Dairy Whip! Dairy Whip!
Just take your swing, Timmy.
Oh, what the bloody fuck?
That Ponzi bastard just hit a home run!
Riot! Riot! Oi, why isn't anybody rioting?
It's like no one appreciates T-ball no more.
Maybe we should take off.
Good. Finally.
Hey, coach, you made a mistake.
What?
You put your face too close to the fence.
Ah! My arm and throat!
Dairy Whip! Dairy Whip! Dairy Whip!
And now it's time for another Weird Sports! Oh, Weird Sports.
Weird.
Say, Phil,
Yes.
hey, what's today's weird sport?
Well, I'll tell you. Today's weird sport, underwater hockey.
No.
Underwater hockey, yes. That is the weird sport for today.
Do you have to hold your breath?
Well, I'll tell you. Underwater hockey, also called octopush and water hockey. Tell me that isn't the most badass Spider-Man villain of all time.
Octopush?
Like Doc Ock has a child and he names it Octopush.
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 Out of my way 8 times.
Yes, it's called octopush. Or water hockey is a global non-contact sport in which 2 teams compete to maneuver a puck across the bottom of a swimming pool into goals. So it sounds like it's pretty much hockey at the bottom of a pool, right?
Yeah, that sounds exactly like what it is.
So many questions come up though, right?
Again, do they have to hold their breath?
Well, I'll
Is this
tell
done
you.
with scuba gear?
Well, we'll get to it.
Yeah.
I'll just go through the play really quickly. The play, 2 teams of up to 10 players compete with 6 players on each team playing at once. Kind of like hockey, right? It's
No.
people sitting on the sides waiting to get in.
No,
There's
it's,
other people
yeah,
playing
it's
in.
6 if you count the goalie.
Oh, okay.
Five
I was
skaters.
I was still listening to 10. Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The remaining 4 players are continually substituted into play from the substitution area, which I assume is kind of like the benches.
So like a carved out like dugout in the pool.
It actually can be either in the water or on the deck, depending. So you have that option, depending on how crazy your country is. Before the start of play, a puck is placed in the middle of the pool, and the players wait in the water, touching the wall above the goals that they are defending. At the start of play, the signal, usually a buzzer or gong. In play, members of both teams are free to swim anywhere in the play area and try to score by maneuvering the puck to the opponent's goal. Players hold their breath as they dive to the bottom of the pool. Joel's question is answered. A form of dynamic apnea, or free diving, as it's called, apparently. Play continues until either a goal is scored and players return to their wall to start a new point, or a break in the play is signaled by a referee due to either a foul, a timeout, or the end of a period of play.
Who the hell came up with this?
That's a good question, right? Doesn't it seem like...
I have a guess.
Okay.
Somebody in Wales.
That
That would make more sense this time. Get it? Wales?
because whales are water, right?
Yeah.
They're commonly found in pools.
Yeah.
Do they have hockey sticks?
Yeah, they've got sticks. I mean, they don't call them sticks though. They call them either bats or pushers. So they're kind of like sweeping it across the bottom. They're pretty short though. It says that they're 350 millimeters,
Oh, wow.
which means that it's a third
It's
of a
a little,
meter,
like,
right?
hand-
It's like a foot.
Did you say millimeter?
Millimeter?
I
Yeah.
think I said milliliter. I was like, what is going on here?
Well, they're also full of water, right?
Yeah.
No. Including the handle, they're like 1 foot long, right?
Oh, so hence, because I was going to say, if it's a stick, then really you don't have to
yeah. It's
hold
just
your
a very
breath, but
little
you do
stick.
have to hold your breath if it's like a small stick.
Right. Totally, yeah. I mean, it's tiny. It would be such a pain in the ass. You can't get any distance with those.
Does the puck float?
No, the puck sinks.
Oh.
You're diving to the bottom every time.
Ugh.
So what's your question based on that? No, imagine this. You're a big fan of the sport, right?
Mm-hmm.
Big fan of the sport.
Biggest.
And you go to a pool where
Right.
people are playing.
Right.
What's your big concern?
Oh,
Not going to see any of the action.
You're not going to
It's
see
underwater.
anything, right? You're not going to see a damn thing. It's a 1 foot long stick, a puck at the bottom of a pool. You can't see a thing, right? They have dealt with this. So
To
spectators,
deal with the glut of
right? Because they're
people
like, we've got this amazing sport. It's fun to play. Wait a
clamoring
second.
for underwater
Nobody's going to
hockey.
buy a ticket. No one's going to buy a ticket. Octopush contest, as they call it in London, has seen out from the surface of the Crystal Palace pool in London. At a club or training level, underwater hockey is not a particularly spectator-friendly. Since the game of action is below the surface, one must enter the water in order to get the full effect of the game. Spectators may either try on fins, a snorkel, and a mask, and enter the pool for a view of the playing area, or take advantage of the work of underwater videographers who recorded major tournaments.
Wow.
I sign up for the underwater videographers.
Right, but even then, like, you can't watch the sport live. Like, the live aspect has been taken out of it. No matter what.
I hate watching sports on tape delay. or
Right.
TiVo. I hate that.
And you have to, like, get it out of the. It's not like they're gonna feed live streaming footage out of the pool, right? I mean, you're gonna be watching like last
Yes.
week's.
Well, what
game.
are they going to feed them?
That's a good question.
If the point that you're driving at is that there appear to be fundamental flaws behind the concept of Octopush, I'm in agreement, Phil.
Yeah, like this is the biggest. Like it can't be a popular sport because it's completely inaccessible for someone to watch.
Yeah.
How do you even know it's cool? You have to try it the first time.
I think you'd have to be in really great shape to do this sport because of the constant diving and holding
Yeah.
your breath, and you'd have to get in that good a shape for nothing.
Right.
I don't
You're-
feel like you're going to get laid much because you're an Octopush player.
Right.
You're not going to get paid any money. There's no
Yeah.
glory.
There's no glory. History of the sport. Where's your guess of where it began?
Wales.
All right, Jordan.
Water.
You know what? Jordan's absolutely right. It began in water in 1954 as Alan Blake of the newly formed South Sea Sub Aqua Club was the first player. He invented it with some of his buddies in Portsmouth, England.
I was close.
You were very close. All of these come from the UK.
Yeah.
Why don't they just learn how to play basketball?
I think this is really a commentary on soccer, which has been around for like over 100 years there. And since soccer, they've been trying to come up with some sport, anything more entertaining.
Yes.
Did they come up with cricket?
And
I'm
football.
guessing they did. Yeah.
I think they did. They do have cricket, and they have soccer.
That game is incomprehensible. I've tried to watch it before.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like baseball without foul lines.
Right, and for like people don't do anything, and then they're like, they just got 700 points. It's like, what? They didn't do anything.
I love when people brag. They're like, "Oh yeah, some games go for a week," and it's like, "Well, it's not a good thing."
It's terrifying, in fact.
Damn, Brits.
It is.
They came up with underwater hockey. That's how bored they are with football.
Right, so British people are crazy. It was started in England, but now it's gone international.
Like figgy pudding?
Like figgy pudding, exactly. So bring us some figgy pudding.
Starts in Britain, now
Yeah.
international.
Absolutely. Because everybody, like all the American kids are like, oh, Mom, I don't want cookies tonight or ice cream. I want some figgy pudding. Oh, man.
Oh, do you have any desserts with plum in it?
Yeah.
I'm
I
sick
want
of good
bread
tasting
pudding
stuff.
because bread is so delicious as a dessert.
Actually, bread pudding's pretty good.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're
so
off
British.
your rocker.
So British. The World Championships, not held every year, held every 2 years. I have a guess as to why this is. Very hard to raise funding with no spectators. Very difficult. I don't know how they can come up with the money to have one every 2 years. It makes no
I'm
sense.
imagining Phil writing a thesis paper on the economics of
I'm so
Octopush.
frustrated by Octopush. It was Sheffield, England is where they hold it. They held it in 44 teams competed in 6 age and gender categories. We ready to hear the list of countries that did it?
Sure.
Here's the list of countries. Australia, of course. They got drunk. They ended up at the bottom of a pool, said, hey, there's people playing hockey down here. Let's do it.
Okay.
Right? Number 2, Belgium. Of course.
Wouldn't put it past the
Wouldn't
Belgians.
put it past
I don't
them.
even know what the stereotypes
So,
are about
so
Belgians.
fucking typical.
So Belgium. That's so Belgium. Even
I know
more
this
than
one
Raven.
guy from Belgium. All he talks about is hockey with short sticks and
Right.
swimming underwater. I'm
He's
not
like,
even the least bit
Octopush.
surprised.
Yeah. Number 3, you're gonna love this one. Canada.
Well,
Canada loves hockey so much they'll do it underwater.
it is a form of. I imagine in Canada, there's like, oh, hey, we can play when the lake's not frozen.
Right. Hey, it's something to play when we're down south in Canada when the lake isn't frozen for 2 months of the year.
Oh, hey.
Ooh, I'm Canadian.
That went into the Dalai Lama impression.
I am Canadian. We are all one with our motherland of Canada. I'll run through the other ones quickly because they're expected. Colombia, Hungary, France, Jersey, CI, Italy, Japan, the Netherlands, New Zealand, South Africa, Spain, Turkey, the United Kingdom, Ireland, and the United States of America, ladies and
Oh,
gentlemen.
God damn
The
it.
United States did decide to participate because we're just as dumb as they are.
That's. I need to, who's doing that?
Not me.
Who looked at the diverse sportscape of the United States and did not find a single one that worked for them and landed on frickin' Octopush? I'm
makes no
disgusted to share a
You know,
country
maybe
with
it's a
you.
classic fish out of water story like Cool Runnings, where they didn't make it to the Summer Olympics.
It's a classic fish in water story.
There you go.
Yeah, except we're not fish, they're people.
Oh, man, our curling team totally didn't make the finals. This blows. What are we going to do with these short sticks we got?
Hey, wait a second. I've got some snorkels and a mask.
Wouldn't snorkels be cheating?
Oh, yeah, it's probably true, huh? They could be spectators, and then that's how they discover
Still,
it.
this-
A little bit of a chunky first act, but I think we can cut it down a little bit. It's kind of... My exposition was not as streamlined as I'd like it to be. That's all the time we have. So that comes to a close. Another Weird Sports! Octopus doesn't make any sense, so dumb it is weird.
It's probably the same people who play kickball is what it is.
All right, folks, that brings us to the end of another sports podcast. But before we go, we'd like to leave you with some Valiant Prophecies.
Valiant Prophecies.
Valiant Prophecies. Brought to you by Doritos. Bite into the tasty snack taste of Doritos, everybody.
We still don't have a drop. is what I just heard there.
No, that was a drop.
No, that was totally.
That was a
What are you talking
drop.
about?
I've been sitting here silently just enjoying that drop.
That you designed that drop.
I designed that, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
What are our prophecies?
Well, we have some Valiant prophecies.
Yeah, come
Stop sounding sad. When you sound sad, the people at home are going to be sad.
I'm still bummed about Ryan Braun.
Yep.
Okay, Tuesday, December 20th. This is actually my favorite bowl. The Beef O'Brady's Bowl.
What? Hold on. What's the company?
This is the best part, and I learned this just last year. The name of the company is Beef O'Brady.
What?
Guess what it is?
Beef.
It is a chain of restaurants that specializes in wings.
No.
Yes.
It's a wings restaurant called Beef.
Well,
O'Brady.
it's not just wings, but that's like one of their things.
Then they should be Chicken O'Brady's.
Why have I never heard of Beef O'Brady's? That sounds like it'd be right up my avenue.
Yeah.
It's not that. I tried it last
Do
year.
you notice that Joel does not own an alley? He owns an avenue.
He
Said it's right up his avenue.
thinking
Because
A
he's a
Street.
little higher class than an alley.
Well, me and
Robert Griffin III.
going to celebrate his Heisman over some yachting. Lacoste. All right, who's playing in the Beef O'Brady Bowl?
Well, first, do you know where the Beef O'Brady Bowl takes place?
In our hearts.
Texas.
Correct, St. Petersburg.
St. Petersburg in Russia, right?
Yes. Florida, and oddly enough, the first participant in the game, Florida International.
That's gotta be a
Yeah,
bummer.
there we
They
go.
probably
Versus-
heard about it, and then they're like, "Oh, we have to travel how far? Where? You said St. Petersburg. What?
Like in the Rolling Stones song?
Should I pack my swimsuit? What?
Florida International versus Marshall.
Oh, it's Florida International though.
Right. So they're used to being overseas. I'm gonna go with Marshall because it makes me think of Eminem, and Eminem won't let anyone keep him down. Marshall Mathers, love, Detroit.
I'm gonna have to say that we are not Marshall and go with Florida International.
It's good. I'm going to go with Marshall, too. Wednesday, December 21st. The San Diego County Credit Union Poinsettia Bowl.
No
way.
No way.
There's a credit union sponsoring a bowl?
I thought credit unions were part of the 99%, not the 1%. I thought we were supposed to take money from the 1% and put it into credit unions.
Credit unions very much are in the 1%, Phil.
Oh, really?
I'm not sure you understand how a bank works or even a credit union is. The money goes in there.
Right, but on the other hand, like people were like,
they're
yeah, take it
nonprofit.
out of Bank of America and put it into the credit unions.
Yeah, but if you have a credit union, if as long as you have over 10 accounts, if you're a bank, you're going to be in the 1%.
Okay.
All right. Well, who's playing?
This
in
is a powerful county
okay,
credit union.
Okay. All right. Who's playing in their bowl?
Well, number 18, TCU at 10 and 2
ranked.
versus Louisiana Tech. So that's if you have a great season as a mid-major, this is your reward. If you
Yeah.
go to Texas Christian and you go 10 and 2, you get to play Louisiana Tech.
There we go. Big reward. You know what? I'm going to go with TCU on this one because it fondly reminds me of the movie called TCU that had a young Jeremy Piven in it, and he was going crazy and getting
Say
crazy
Phil?
against the
Phil.
dean, and
Phil.
John Favreau was his buddy in
But
it.
Phil,
and
Phil.
David Spade was a bad guy.
That was actually PCU.
Okay, then I pick PCU for this game.
Right. Okay. Let's see. I'm gonna have to go. I think Louisiana Tech, because I'm thinking back on all those powerhouse Louisiana Tech teams when they won back-to-back national championships in 03, 04, and then went in 05 and lost to Texas.
That's weird because 04 is the year they beat Michigan State. So it's really weird that you brought up that year.
I was making a joke.
Yeah.
About USC. You just had to bring that up. That's what you had to do.
Well, Louisiana Tech.
That was in the John L. Smith years.
You brought up one of their best years. I'm just saying one of their signature victories in that year.
You hear that long silence, folks?
Are you gonna predict? Are you gonna pick a winner? It's TCU.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick TCU.
All right,
And I'm gonna kill Jordan.
I picked them too.
Good analysis.
Thursday, December 22nd, the Maaco Bowl, Las Vegas.
That sounds too
Maaco-
close to the
what's
makeover
Maaco?
bowl.
And what?
What's Maaco? What's the product?
The Sharks. The Sharks are-
MAACO. They do paint jobs.
Oh,
Maaco.
Yeah.
they do paint jobs?
Yeah.
Okay, who's playing in the game?
Oh well, you got Arizona State at 6-6 versus 11-1 number 7 Boise State.
Oh, jeez.
Great, congratulations, Boise State.
You know,
You get to play a 500 team from the Pac-12 South.
You know what? I think I'm going to go with Boise State because I know basic math.
Yeah. I too will go with Boise. Their last game outside the Big East. Let's say Boise State hands it to one of the teams that's actually close to them.
The Sun Devils pounce on an unmotivated Boise State. No, not a chance. Boise State, 1 million. Arizona State, a Sun Devil.
Significantly less than 1 million.
Saturday, December 24th, Christmas Eve.
Hey,
this is
Merry
a great
Christmas
one. I
Eve.
like this one because I go to my family party, and then by around this time, I want to go home.
Yeah.
And I start watching the bowl game on like someone else's television.
Right.
And then mom's like, you can't just turn on other people's TVs, And then it's like,
Yeah.
I'll look it going. So and I'm sorry. So the Sheraton Hawaii Bowl.
Wait, what is it?
Let
The
me
Sheraton
start
Hawaii
over.
Bowl?
Saturday, December 24th, the Sheraton Hawaii Bowl.
Is it actually in Hawaii?
Yes.
What lucky buggers get to go to this one?
Well, let me tell you. 7-5 Nevada versus 11-2 Southern Mississippi. Number 21 Southern
They're
Mississippi.
two warm weather teams.
Yeah.
You think the Hawaii Bowl should have to be like a team from Alaska against a team from like Minnesota?
On the other hand, I'm gonna go with Southern Mississippi because it seems like that's probably gonna be the best time of any of their lives, right? None of them are going from Southern Mississippi. None of them are going to the NFL, right? Like no way.
Didn't Jerry Rice go to Southern Mississippi? Or no?
Brett Favre.
Brett Favre went to Southern Mississippi.
Yeah, he won. Okay, won. But for most of them, like they're seniors, and this is gonna be it, right?
Yeah.
And then they're never leaving Mississippi again.
yeah, not like
They're
that
there to
powerhouse
die. They're there to
Nevada.
spit out kids and die. So let them enjoy this one moment.
Love how Phil
Please.
has managed to insult this entire state egregiously merely during the Valiant
I'm not
Prophecies
taking this
portion.
back, okay? They're all gonna die
were.
sad. Let them have this.
I will pick Mississippi State as well. End of
Southern.
statement. Southern Miss. Oh, I thought it was Mississippi State. No, those people of Southern Miss, they're just gonna die.
See?
That is a sad place. I thought you said Mississippi State.
Yeah.
Totally
No.
different.
No, this is like the little college town there that nobody, like in the burbs, it's crammed in there. Like instead of a football stadium, they just have a parking lot with some sticks.
The Sports podcast would like to apologize to anyone who has ever been
I don't
close
apologize. They're all going to
Southern
die.
Mississippi
They're going to have
University.
kids, and that's it. And that's their lives.
Obviously, this is Southern Mississippi's to lose.
Yes.
And they ain't gonna lose. This edition of Valiant Prophecies is highly ranked mid-majors versus teams that don't deserve to play such a highly ranked team.
Makes
Yes.
sense.
Got a
And-
theme.
So, but that's it. Now we're done, and we gotta go.
Oh, I don't want to leave.
Oh.
You never have to.
Oh, really?
Check us out on Twitter
Yeah, you can
Oh,
go to
yeah.
twitter.com/sports3podcast,
or go on Facebook
facebook.com/sports podcast,
or email us, and we'll check it.
sportspodcast@gmail.com.
Oh, and rate and review us. Subscribe on iTunes.
Yeah, sports3, all one word, sports number 3, and then space podcast.
And call our landline.
Yeah, at wait, I don't even know that number. What is the number to the studio? Comedy Podcast Network Studios. I don't have it written on the phone. Well, either way, don't call because
Yeah.
I don't want to talk to you.
But we do want you to rate the podcast.
Yeah, rate and review, rate and review, rate and review, rate and review, and make sure to send in those athlete's food puns.
Yeah.
Hashtag athlete food pun on Twitter. We'll read them.
That's gonna be trending.
It
Yeah.
already has been trending a couple times. Let me tell you.
Trending a lot.
Yeah,
Really?
it's kind of blown up. It's become a meme. M-E-M-E.
Oh
meme.
my God, we're gonna be a meme.
We're already a meme.
Oh
All
man,
right.
like
We're
scumbag
famous.
Steve.
Yeah.
Indeed. Thank you, America.
Lights off. For more funny stuff for your eyes and ears, go to comedypodcastnetwork.com.